Hi, this is Pam with ROC Metaphysical. Hopefully you've seen some of the other videos, but I'll always keep repeating how wonderful the magazine is. So it's ROC, R-O-C, Metaphysical, it's all one word, .com. You can Google it. We're in Rochester, New York, where I am. And that's why the beginning of the magazine is R-O-C. I just, I don't know, came up with it and thought it was short and sweet. So hopefully you'll look for us on there. I have writers that contribute, and the first of each month, people give me articles. I never know what they're going to be. So it's kind of a surprise for all of us of what the new month will bring. And then also there's the advertising and event information, classes, that kind of thing. So today I'm interviewing Cait, C-A-I-T, who is what we would call downstate, because people, since we're in Rochester, we call ourselves upstate. And we're in the Finger Lakes area, and you're down in the Rhinebeck area, so we'll let you say you're upstate. So Cait has written a book, and I read it about a week or so ago, and I'm gonna put a shout out to people over 55, and those under 55 might learn something by this book. And so I guess, I'd say the whole Madonna thing, if people have paid any attention to all the internet stuff about Madonna, and she was on the Grammys, I think I was, and, it was obvious that she had some, what they call work done. She looked like a totally different person. And I was just like, why? And, I understand it. And people, and women, but, we can't let the guys out of this. We do kind of wonder, are we aging well? And, how are we looking and fitting in with everybody else? And so with the Madonna thing, it really made me think, I think she was a beautiful person just by herself, and not to have the work done. And because it changes really how she looked, and then maybe that changes her inner, but I guess we'll see. So that really made me think, and I think your book helps us to think about our value when we're over 55. So chime in. I could just go on and on.
I just think women are having a hard time right now. As we know, some of our rights are getting stripped away. And if you think it's bad for young women, try being an older woman in this culture where we've totally, in many people's eyes, lost our value. Only when we're young and sexy and fertile do we have much value at all. So my book is out to kind of change all that in a very magical way. By connecting to the seasons, by owning our power to channel earthy groundedness and airy inspiration and fiery creativity and watery feeling. I don't know, it's just a whole different way of looking at the aging process. And I had a great time writing it, and hopefully people are having a great time reading it.
Well, I hope even, they are now, but with this even more. So if you kind of walked us through about how we should really have value about who we are and where we are. And that was another thing that made me realize that, I've made it this far. I think I've learned a few things along the way.
Yeah.
And I think it really made me go, I'm smart. I'm, stay on top of things. And, how could somebody want to not think of me as a valued individual and woman, that I don't have to be 20, like you said, and be, this image of a perfect
with
figure of a woman.
Female. Yeah, to sort of prop up some aging man's virility. Yeah. No, one of the wonderful things about being a woman of a certain age is that we are free from a lot of that. We're no longer so invested in trying to be attractive. You know what I mean? It's like, many older women fight so sadly a really losing battle against what we call the ravages of age. So they're having Botox and facelifts. And it's so sad when we could take that energy and money and time and put it towards something that really lights us up. Because the truth is, until we die, we are going to age. So why not embrace it instead of trying to hide the fact that it's happening? So yeah, I'm very proud about the fact that I'm going to be 71 in September. And
Well, you look great.
Thank you. I feel pretty great. I'm not going to have any work done. I want to wear my age with pride. And I think because in our culture, we only see usually the fashion models who are young and dewy and beautiful. But hey, why not collect images of older women who are just as beautiful, but in a different way? When I think about Native American women, particularly, or women from other cultures with faces that look like dried creek beds, but they're gorgeous because they have spirit and they have life force. And I think that's what makes us really beautiful. Some of those models, bless their hearts, it looks like nobody's home, There's like a deadness about them. Oh yeah, they're pretty, I guess, in conventional terms, but I think it's a woman's juice and feistiness and spirit connection that makes us truly beautiful.
Right. And I think we should be proud that we've amassed wisdom and we've had our fair share of ups and downs. That I think, if somebody came to me, I could really give great wisdom and information because I've been there, done that,
Yep.
and I shouldn't be dismissed.
No, absolutely. I don't know if you've heard of the 13 Indigenous grandmothers. They're
Yes.
from all different cultures. And they're exactly what you said. They have so much wisdom, and we don't want it to be lost. We need the wisdom that they have to offer. But all of us have some. Like you said, if we've lived to a certain age, we've learned a thing or two. And we're sort of an untapped resource. And there is as I was saying before, a freedom about being a certain age. Often your children are grown, your parents are passed. Sometimes we have a partner or we don't, but generally we have a bit more freedom than we did when we were younger. And that just means we have more time to do the things that we love and that we really feel passionately about. So yeah, I have a friend who did a real protest where she actually risked being jailed, but she felt so passionately about it. And she said, look, I don't have dependents. My parents have been dead for years. If I have to go to jail, so what? I believe in this. And I just was so impressed with that.
Well, I was just thinking about, she's the British actress. I think her last name is Margulies.
Oh, yes. I love her.
Right. She's on the cover of Vogue.
I love it.
And looks gorgeous. And
Yeah.
I think I saw something on my Facebook feed where she's traveling around with the actor. Oh, he was on a law show. He was in Cabaret, and I can't think of his name right now, but they're traveling in England in the countryside, and she's quite a character.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'm 80 something. I just don't care. I'll say what I want to say. I'll do what I want to do. Let somebody stop me.
I really like that. There's the feistiness of the woman who says, I don't really care what you think of me. I have to follow my heart now. I have to follow what my soul really wants. And if society goes, ew, so what? So yeah.
And maybe that is the point. I mean, maybe we missed that memo where it says that after, let's say retirement age, whatever that is, that, you're free to do what you want and you should be okay. It's like that cartoon, is it Marge or whatever her name is? She's on a lot of cards and she just doesn't care.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't care. Right. I love
right.
it. Well, we do care about some things. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If we stop caring about the things that don't really matter and we care passionately about the things that do. So there's a wonderful liberation, I think, that happens when you hit a certain age. For one thing, when the hormones ebb, it really changes everything. I used to be so obsessed by relationship, and now I'm single and I absolutely love it. I never thought I would be single. I always thought I would end up with somebody forever, but it did not turn out that way. And now I'm really grateful, which is a big change. And I think that happens for a lot of women. I know so many marvelous elder women who are single by choice and really love it.
And I know, some men that have just said, it's my time to be free, just like
Mhm.
us. We can do what
Yeah.
we want. And if a relationship is there, that's great. And if not, it's great. It's all about enjoying life and having experiences and, going to school or a new hobby or whatever. You have now the opportunity to say yes if you want to do something.
And however, but there's the flip side of that. And that is, as we age, unfortunately, for most of us, we start to lose the ability to do certain things. That's one thing that my book doesn't do. It does not soft soap that aspect of aging. It can be hard. Things start to go wrong. But where I'm coming from is try to focus on the things you still can do.
Hmm.
I have a wonderful client who is a very accomplished artist. She was also a ballroom dancer. But because she's the age she is, she's now having joint problems and she's no longer able to dance. But bless her heart, she's still going to the studio and making her art. And to me, that's a lesson for all of us. Rather than bemoaning the things you can't do, you just spend more time doing the things you can.
All right. So, what are some examples in the book that you talk about that are empowering women or helping them to take time to refocus?
Well, it's summer now. So let's talk about the summer energy of fire and creativity. It's so sad to me how many women stop themselves from being the creative people they are because, oh, well, I'm not good enough and nobody's going to like it. And, we all have those troll voices in our heads. Sadly, we also sometimes have relatives and friends who say, well, I don't understand this. I don't get it. What were you thinking to do here? I have a whole section in the book about, like, I call them garlic cloves for your creative vampires, things to do to help yourself be creative, juicily creative, without worrying so much about product or what other people think, just doing it for the joy of it. So I found that very empowering to write, and people are saying, oh, I really get it. It's so much fun to say, yes, I could do this. I could start a success journal and write down all the things that I have done. So the next time I go, oh, I'm really not worth anything, I really can't do much, you open the journal and go, well, wait a minute, I did this and that and the other thing. So yeah. And also unplugging. I don't know about you, but I tend to get sucked down the rabbit hole of Facebook. And it's really appalling. And I know better, right? So every once in a while, I just say, I have to take a fast from social media. And I just unplug. And that gives my mind space to expand rather than getting filled with all this nonsense, such chatter, So that's
Right.
another thing.
So, summer and fire. So, is that maybe trying new things or?
Absolutely. And also being sort of in love with your own sensuality. I talk about how I'm not obsessing about trying to find some partner anymore, but that doesn't mean that I can't be in a wonderful sensual relationship with my own body, which is amazing when you think about it. The capacity for the human body to have pleasure, it's really something. And when you start thinking about all of the smells, the tastes, the sounds that you love, that's another thing that I suggest, to start making a list of the things that you really enjoy and then enjoy them. Take the time just to luxuriate.
Well, it's summertime too. So, seasonally here, there's a lot of farms, and
Mm,
the Finger Lakes has got a lot of wineries and
yep.
uh, apple orchards and things like that. So, we're surrounded by great fruits and vegetables and wine and all that. So, and upstate, well, up here, upstate, my upstate, what summer is very, what's the word? I'm compacted, I guess. I mean,
Uh,
it's like from June 1st to August 31st, we're trying to do as much as we can outside,
yes.
enjoying everything that is offered because of the farming and the growing seasons around here. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Ours is a little longer, I think. And
yeah,
unfortunately, it's been really for us horrendously warm and humid. And I'm not a big fan of humidity. But yeah, summer is the time to go as naked as you can, without being indecent and just being outside and enjoying it. I mean, there's nothing more magical than watching the fireflies at night or having a little bonfire, although we must be careful because, of the fires. But I don't know. And also going to the ocean. My friend Anya did 4 absolutely marvelous magical illustrations for my book of the 4 seasonal witches. And she chose to make the summer witch a mermaid. Let me see if I can show this. I don't know if you can see it.
yes, I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, in summer, we all flock to the beach. And there is a magic about sea air and the water. There's something so cleansing about the wind that comes off the ocean. So yeah, to make a combination of water and earth that way and sun, yeah, it's really pretty magical. I'm so into trying to find the magical in the everyday. Nothing abstruse, nothing metaphysical, just yeah.
Right. And I think maybe we have to be reminded because we're so, list oriented and, have to get things done because we've had to be that way. And now we're a little older. We may not have to have that regimentation of, accomplishing all these things and getting all these things done. That
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of like a little tagline is that we should be finding more magic in our life. And we should be thinking about what can I do that is gonna, make my eyes light up and make me think that the coincidence or, these magical things happen. And I never would have thought that this kind of thing would have happened.
I'm a big fan of synchronicity because I don't think there are any accidents. But
Right.
what a thought that we could take the time when we've retired, not that I'll ever retire, but because I love what I do, because I'm a counselor as well as a writer, and I'm an editor as well. And I love it all. But to think, hey, I could wake up when I feel like waking up, no more alarm clock. I could eat when I get hungry. I don't have to have a regimented schedule. And I can keep my senses open for the wonder all around me every day. I mean, that sounds awfully Pollyanna-ish, but when I look at my backyard, I go out every morning and I have what I call barefoot morning prayers. I was taught this by a shaman friend of mine named Rebecca Singer. And it's a beautiful practice because I see the changes that happen in such slow increments day by day with the vegetation, with the animals, with the birds. I try to go out as close to dawn as I can if I'm awake. And I don't know, there's just something so connecting about it. Since we forget that we are part of nature, we talk about nature as if it's something outside of us. But I think in our elder years, we have such a wonderful opportunity to really connect back with nature.
Yep, that's true. And especially now that summertime. So I looked down and I was looking through your book. So I don't know if the summertime you talk about self-love and another topic called vampires. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That's the creativity vampires, because we all have them. Most of them live inside our own heads. But unfortunately, sometimes our friends can be not very helpful and our relatives even worse, sadly. But yeah, we can defeat those vampires and go ahead and be the creative souls that we're meant to be. No, am I ever going to write the great American novel? No, I'm not. But I can do what I can do. And everyone can do something, even if it's to make a beautiful garden or to cook a creative meal or to sew something fun, or knit something for someone that you love. So many things we can do that we can be creative at.
All right. So I'm just flipping through as you see me look down. So you have the fire of anger was something as your ally.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a counselor. And so one of the things that I realized is that one of the biggest problems people have is communication and being able to express anger in ways that are not harmful. but that become sort of the galvanizer for positive change. And that's a biggie. Mostly when we're triggered, we tend to react in ways that just make things worse. I like to think of it as fire. If you're reacting, then you make sort of a sooty mess all over everything. Whereas if you learn how to burn clean and speak your truth, with a certain kind of dignity and gravitas and compassion, you can't guarantee that you're going to be heard by the other person, but you'll hear yourself saying it. And that's going to do such good things for your self-esteem. So yeah, I have some tips in there for how to communicate your anger in a really positive, constructive, clean way. Because I think it's one of the kingpins really for, having better relationships with people.
Well, and I think we're at this point now where hopefully we know what we want and what we like, and the things that maybe we don't care to spend time with somebody, or someone that does something that you think is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I think now, if we're going to say we're having wisdom as older women and older people, that we should be able to say that, yes, this works and we're having a great time. But if you were a person that was kind of rubbing me the wrong way, I should be able to find a way to say, could we find another way to talk, or can we just not talk about that topic?
Right. Or you can gracefully withdraw.
Right. Yeah. And I've done that. I mean, I've had to tell family at gatherings, let's leave politics out the door.
Lordy. Yeah.
I never could do that before, but it's supposed to be a happy event, and everybody gets a little animated when it comes to politics, and just like,
well, you brought up something a minute ago that I think is a really good point, is that when you're feeling angry, it's actually, I think, a great message from yourself to yourself that something is happening that shouldn't be happening and that you don't deserve, or something isn't happening that should be happening because you do deserve it. And so when you're angry, it's a way of, you have to stop and think, okay, what's really going on for me right now? And how could I communicate that? One example I always think of is if you have a partner and your partner forgets your birthday, there are ways and ways to go about talking about that. If you say, jerk, you forgot my birthday again. What the hell's wrong with you? Okay, that's not going to get you what you want. But if you say, you forgot my birthday, and when that happens, I feel really hurt. I feel like you don't care about me, which gives them an opportunity to say, I just forgot. I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it up? Atonement is a really good thing. If you mess up, you need to give somebody an opportunity to atone for what they've done.
Well, that's a good point. I have 2 adult children, 2 boys who, are very independent people. And my birthday kind of passed by one time, and I was a little upset.
Yeah, it's hurtful. Yeah.
But, I had to say, and I consulted with a couple people before, I called them up and was not a nice person.
Right. You waited till you weren't all triggered. That's really smart.
Right. And I kind of said the same thing. I said, when I buy you gifts, I put a lot of effort into it because I want to make sure it's something of value. And so when my birthday comes around, I would hope that you would do something similar. And I was kind of sad that I didn't get anything. And so it was much more well received.
Absolutely, because you were vulnerable. I think when we use I statements, I felt this, I felt that. First of all, they can't argue with how you feel.
Right.
If you accuse them, they can argue till the cows come home. But yeah, if you express honest feeling, that's going to open hearts. So yeah, communication, it's so huge. And we're not taught how to do it. I wish we were as children.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had, is it called conflict resolutions in school, so you could learn how to agree to disagree, or at least have talks where everybody's point of view is listened to. You may not agree, but at least everybody's allowed to have that point of view.
Right. It's like the talking stick. I've been in circles where You have the talking stick, nobody else talks. You're the only one who talks. And then when you're done, you pass it and everyone just listens. What a thought. You can have your little private reactions to what people are saying, but you keep your mouth shut and just listen. And that way everyone feels heard.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's a good thing too.
So any other points out of the book that would engage it's for women primarily, I'm going to assume.
It is primarily because I'm a woman, so I'm writing from that viewpoint, but I actually have several really fine and wonderful male friends who have bought it and read it and say, hey, there's stuff in here for us too. For anybody that's aging,
Right.
Yeah, it's for humans, I guess. Although because I'm a woman, as I said, I do have that bias. I can't help it.
Right.
But yeah, I guess what I would like to say to people is this is our chance to truly open all of our senses to the wonder that is this life. We're not going to be here forever. And knowing that, I think it gives a certain energy to every day, right? Because I have more days behind me than I have in front of me now. And in a way that makes me want to savor each day all the more and to engage in relationships that are meaningful, not depleting or hurtful, to do activities that, like we were saying, light me up. So what an opportunity. When a lot of the old stuff that we used to be so obsessed about has fallen away, it gives us more space for the things that really, truly matter.
Right. And I think that's another great point is that, now we're over a certain age. I mean, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So why not engage and look for the magic and tune in and find what makes you the most happy, because tomorrow it could be.
You never know. My parents lived to be 94 and 99, but I don't think I'm going to make it that long. And so it's become really important for me to do more of the things that, connect me up with the great mystery, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Right. And, magic, we haven't talked much about the word witch. It is terribly misunderstood. I think too many B movies have been made, demonizing witches, when the truth is witches are healers, and they very much live in consonance with the seasons, which is what I try to do.
So are you a practicing pagan, or?
Yeah, I'll practice forever. I'll never be an expert. I don't know if I call myself a pagan. I'm earth honoring. That's really, I'm one of my favorite spiritual practices. And this is going to sound silly, but it's decorating my altar with the seasons, and it changes almost, every week as things rise up and die back. I bring things in from outdoors. I change the colors. It brings me so much joy. That and cooking, I got to say. I love cooking as a spiritual practice, which actually I do just to, promote my book.
Yeah, that's the other book. Yeah.
Yeah. Witch in the Kitchen. It was so much fun. I gained like 15 pounds writing it. I had to test all the recipes, of course.
Did you do it during COVID?
No, this is actually an oldish book now, but it's still selling, which is kind of amazing to me. This was from I think it came out the day the Twin Towers fell.
Oh, that was a while back.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. Anyway, but it's still selling. And I think people really respond to the message that food can be this immense source of joy and pleasure and connection with self and others.
Well, I think so many people watch the cooking shows now that it's changed the whole view of how you look at food. I mean, even I watch Top Chef because I just love seeing how they make things and the technique and the combinations of things they put together. I'd be like, I would never do that. But then you see somebody eat it and they're like, this is wonderful. And I was like, well, okay.
It's inspiring, right? And I have a thing for Nigella Lawson. I just think she's fabulous. And she is unashamedly greedy. She says that about herself. I'm just greedy and I love to eat. And I think in this era where we all think we should be a size 0, it's so lovely to see a woman who has, a fairly zaftig figure and, clearly enjoys her food. So yeah, isn't it all about enjoyment? and connection.
I think it is.
Yay.
So I think we'll leave it there. So I've got a copy of your book.
Great.
There it is, but I don't know when it goes to the video. Oh, yours looks right. So it's Witch
we go.
Wisdom for Magical Aging by Cait, Cait Johnson. And it's at Inner Traditions, which is a book company that's online. I'm sure it's with Amazon.
Oh, yes, very much. Yeah, it's in every major bookstore and all the online sites too, Barnes and Noble, whatever. Yeah, it's all over.
Okay. And then do you have a website if people wanted to?
I do. It's Cait Johnson, all one word, Cait Johnson.com.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's make it easy.
Okay, well, I think we'll tie it up here. So I highly recommend that people read the book. I loved it. And it just made me feel very fired up.
Yay.
When I read it, and it made me realize that while I'm a woman of a certain age, I should see myself in a different light. So that's why I wanted to interview you, so people would go, oh, well, maybe I have to take a look at that book and see what's going on.
Well, Pam, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. You were great. So this is fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. So I'm going to hit the stop button. So thank you.